I'm on. Look at that. Well, here we are once again in my little shop here in Brooklyn. And we're working on Les Claypool's new bass. He wanted one, like a copy of his first one, as much as we could do, you know. And Pete Hilton did most of the carving on it, and Joe did the sanding, and now we're down to the final thing, which is fretboard work and putting the frets in and stuff like that. I figured we might just do a little bit of showing you what is involved in doing that. This particular neck, although I think it's a very good neck, is a little on the stiff side. And what I mean by that is it doesn't move as gracefully as some of the necks I've made. I know a lot of people who build have certain ways of doing frets, and from where I sit, all the years I spent with Danny Armstrong and hanging out with Jimmy D'Acquisto and Eddie Deal, and Matt Umanoff too. Matt was a real good fret person and just learning a lot of things. There's more than one way to put frets in, that's for sure. So if you people out there have a way, I would suggest you learn a whole bunch of different ways, because situations change. In this case, these particular frets here, I'm gluing in, and I left the slot a little wider than I usually do, but that's because, like I said, the neck is stiff, and if you start putting frets in a stiff neck and you just put them in real solid like that, and you start here and you tap every one of them in like that all the way down the line, by the time you get down here, you're going to have, oh, I should have had this out. You're probably going to have a neck that's going to look like this. And you don't want that, that's for sure. Preferably you want this a little bit, so when you put the strings on, you know, you can turn the rod and pull it up straight. But if it's already here when you start, you got some serious problems. And basically, this neck is a stiff neck, and it's pretty much, we had it strung up a couple of times, and it's pretty much right on the money right now, straight. But just a precaution, we're going to glue these frets in. And notice too, every other fret I did, not in, that also is to help not put that compression in the neck and force it in that direction more than it already is. So these frets I'm just gluing in. Up here at this part of the figure board, where you have a lot of mass with the body and everything, I'm just going to put the frets in. Straight ahead business, you know. I'm going to show you, I've already pre-radiused these because I don't want to take up too much time. We don't have a lot of time on this card anyway. But I want to show you putting in two frets. This one I've already pre-radiused to fit this slot. And I'm just going to check, and can you see me okay, Pete? Yeah. Yeah? And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to take these cutters here and pull the ends down just a little bit. I know back when I was working with Danny Armstrong, me and Eddie Deal, we did fret jobs all the time there. That's before we had this little gizmo of, you know, a fret bender. I won't even demonstrate it now, but it actually puts a radius into the fret wire, and you can adjust the radius. This is the way Eddie and I used to do it all the time. The wire used to come straight, and this is what we did. We put the whole radius in by hand. Now I'm just going to bend the ends down a little bit to get this in and get ready for some noise, because I'm going to tap these in with a hammer. And the first thing I do is get that little bit so you can see on the ends just a little bit. Okay? And then I'm going to take some crazy glue. By the way, back in those days, I didn't have crazy glue either. Everybody has it easy these days, man. I didn't know no pickups for the 6-string bass. I didn't have no crazy glue. Bass Player magazine didn't even exist in those days, you know, telling everybody how to do things. You know? I had nobody. Well, that's not true. Jimmy D'Acquisto helped me a lot, and Eddie Deal and Matt Umanoff, and you know, some people around who Did that. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in there in the slot. Take a paper towel, wipe some of the excess off. Take my 220 sanding paper and just clean it up a little bit. Actually, I'm actually forcing a little bit of the dust into the slot, not too much. That'll help cushion that particular fret a little bit. And then I take this fret and I kind of seat it like that first. And then you tap one end at a time. You don't go across, you don't start in the middle. You start in the middle, the fret's going to go like that. So what you want to do is get the end in first. And the other end. And then across. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to put a rubber band around this one just to, you know, until the glue dries a little bit. It's pretty much in there the way it should be right now. What I do here is put this here, bring this around. Come on, Carl, you can do it. Okay, good. And then I take this little hammer here because it kind of centers right on the fret. And that takes care of that. The other one, I'm just going to put in straight ahead. We okay, Pete, on time?
Oh, yeah.
This one, I'm going to pull the ends down a little bit too. But Les had that, you know, the first bass, he had that 4-string. And he wanted another one because he was afraid something might happen to that other one, I guess. But Leanne, the girl who works out there at the office with Les, she sent us a bunch of pictures of it, and we took measurements when I had it here one time. Because actually back in 1976 when I made that bass, I just made it. I wasn't, I just did it. You know, I never thought I would be making copies of it someday for some famous rock and roll star. I was just making a bass for somebody. And that's where that's at. Let's see. I get this just a little bit more.